It's 2 a.m. Nothing happened today. Nothing is wrong, and yet your mind is running a full audit of something that was said 3 weeks ago. A word choice, a pause before a reply, a moment where something felt slightly off and you filed it away, and now at 2 a.m. in the dark when you should be asleep, your brain has retrieved the file and opened it back up. You are not choosing this. You never choose this. It just happens. And the people in your life, the ones who fall asleep easily, who don't replay things, who seem to move through their days without leaving any residue, they don't understand it. They tell you to stop overthinking, as if that were an option, as if there were a switch. But psychology tells a completely different story. What you call overthinking is not a bad habit. It is not anxiety dressed up as intelligence, or intelligence dragging you toward anxiety. It is a specific cognitive pattern, documented, studied, and deeply connected to a set of traits that are among the rarest and most powerful a human mind can have. There are 6 rare psychological traits that define people who think the way you think, and once you understand them, you will finally stop calling it a flaw. Trait 1. Your mind doesn't finish processing until it understands. You cannot let something go until it makes sense. Not fully, not really. You can put it down for a while, distract yourself, move on with your day, but somewhere in the background, the file is still open, still running, still looking for the resolution that hasn't come yet. It's a Tuesday evening and someone canceled plans with you. The reason they gave was fine, perfectly reasonable, but something about the tone felt different, and now you're not thinking about the canceled plans. You're thinking about what the tone meant, whether something has shifted, whether you did something you didn't realize you did. You're not being paranoid. You're doing what your mind always does. It is running the situation until it finds an answer. Psychologists call this cognitive closure sensitivity, the psychological need to reach a complete, definitive understanding of a situation before the mind can release it. In plain terms, your brain experiences unresolved questions as genuinely uncomfortable, not metaphorically, but neurologically. The open loop creates real tension that doesn't ease until something closes it. This is not weakness. This is a mind that refuses to accept incomplete information. The same drive that keeps you up at 2 a.m. is the same drive that makes you the person who actually understands things, fully, deeply, in a way that most people never bother to reach. You don't skim, you never have. But there's a trait underneath this one that explains where the depth actually comes from. Trait 2. You process experience in more layers than most people. Other people have a thought. You have a thought about the thought, and then a feeling about the thought, and then a question about whether the feeling is accurate, and then a memory that the feeling reminded you of, and then a connection between the memory and something that happened last year, all before you've responded to the original thing. This is not a malfunction. This is reflective processing, the cognitive pattern in which the mind automatically generates multiple layers of analysis around any given input, rather than processing it at face value. Research consistently links reflective processing to higher scores on measures of emotional intelligence, creativity, and long-term decision quality. The people who process in layers are the people who catch what others miss, who notice the contradiction in the argument everyone else accepted, who feel the tension in the room before anyone names it, who arrive at understanding, real understanding, not the surface version, because they were never satisfied with less. The cost is that your mind is rarely quiet. There is almost always something being processed, cross-referenced, reconsidered. You are never fully off. And the exhaustion of that is real, even when no one around you can see it. If this already feels uncomfortably accurate, if you want psychology that explains your mind instead of telling you to fix it, you're welcome to subscribe. Trait 3. Your body carries the weight of what your mind hasn't resolved yet. This one surprises people. Overthinkers don't just think more. They feel more physically in their bodies when something is unresolved. You know the feeling. A conversation happened and it didn't land right, and now there's something in your chest that won't release. A decision is pending, and your shoulders have been tight for 3 days. A relationship feels uncertain, and your sleep has been shallow ever since. This is not psychosomatic weakness. This is somatic empathy, the phenomenon in which the nervous system registers emotional and cognitive tension as physical sensation. In people with high reflective processing, the body and mind are unusually well connected. Unresolved thoughts don't stay in the head, they move into the body and they stay there until something shifts. The strength here is profound. You have access to information about your own experience that most people are completely cut off from. Your body tells you when something is wrong before your conscious mind is caught up. Your physical discomfort is not weakness, it is data, and it is almost always pointing at something true. There's something I want to say here before we go further, because this is the part most people reach late at night, when the thinking finally goes somewhere they can't avoid. When you're lying there and the audit has turned inward, and you find yourself wondering, not for the first time, whether there's something wrong with you, whether normal people think this much, whether the relentlessness of your own mind is a sign of something broken rather than something built. You've probably been told more than once that you're too sensitive, that you take things too personally, that you need to learn to let things go. And because you heard it enough times, part of you believed it, but here's what's actually true. The mind that won't stop isn't broken. It is paying attention in a world that keeps asking people to look away. It is holding things that deserve to be held. It is refusing to treat important things as if they were nothing. That is not a flaw. That is integrity. Trait 4. You anticipate what could go wrong before it does. You have saved people from problems they never knew were coming. You have caught the thing that was about to go wrong and quietly fixed it before anyone noticed. You have walked into situations already prepared for 5 different outcomes because your mind mapped them all in advance, and nobody thanked you for it because nobody knew it happened. This is threat anticipation, the cognitive pattern in which the mind automatically models potential negative outcomes in order to prepare for and prevent them. In evolutionary terms, this is one of the most valuable traits a human can have. Groups that contained people who anticipated threats survived longer. The people who could see what was coming, who could prepare for it, who could hold complexity and uncertainty and still function. Those people kept everyone else alive. Your mind is running the same program, not because you're pessimistic, not because you expect the worst, but because you're wired to protect yourself, the people you love, the situations you're responsible for. The shadow side is that your nervous system doesn't always distinguish between real threats and imagined ones. It prepares for both with equal intensity, and that preparation has a cost that accumulates quietly over years. But the next trait is the one that most overthinkers never recognize in themselves. Trait 5. You feel the weight of what hasn't been said. You walk away from a conversation knowing not just what was said, but what wasn't, the thing the person stopped themselves from finishing. The emotion underneath the neutral tone, the question that wasn't asked because they weren't sure they wanted the answer. You carry these unsaid things, you think about them. You hold them with more care than most people give to things that were actually spoken. Psychologists link this to emotional granularity, the capacity to identify and distinguish emotional states with unusual precision and nuance. People with high emotional granularity don't just feel happy or sad or anxious, they feel the specific texture of a specific emotion in a specific moment. They notice the difference between loneliness and solitude, between disappointment and grief, between love that is safe and love that is costing them something. This precision is a gift. It means you understand people, really understand them, in ways that most people never experience being understood. It means the relationships you form have a quality of depth and realness that is genuinely rare. And it means that when you're finally in a space where someone can see you the same way you see others, it changes everything. Trait 6. You hold yourself to a standard that most people never think to apply. You notice when you were slightly less than you could have been, a moment where you were impatient, or less than fully honest, or less kind than you're capable of. You don't let it go easily, you return to it. You sit with it until you understand it, not because you're punishing yourself, though it can feel that way, but because you hold what you do and who you are to a standard that comes from somewhere real, somewhere deep. Psychologists call this conscientious depth, the internalized ethical and behavioral standard against which a person consistently measures themselves. In people with high reflective processing, this standard is not external. It doesn't come from wanting approval or fear of judgment. It comes from a genuine, private commitment to being someone you can respect. The cost is that you are often your own harshest critic. You see your own failures with the same precision you bring to everything else, and you do not extend to yourself the same understanding you would immediately offer to someone you love. But here's the truth underneath all of it. The standard you hold yourself to is the same thing that makes you someone worth knowing. Someone people trust with real things. Someone who shows up fully in a world full of people who are always slightly somewhere else. So here's what all 6 of these traits together describe. A mind that cannot release what it hasn't understood. That processes experience in more layers than most people know exist. That carries unresolved things in the body as well as the mind. That anticipates harm in order to prevent it. That feels the weight of what goes unspoken. That holds itself to a standard most people never think to apply. None of that is overthinking. None of that is a problem. None of that is something to fix or manage or apologize for. That is what it looks like when a mind is fully, genuinely alive to the world around it. That is not too much. That is exactly enough. You were never broken. You were built differently. Which trait hit closest to home? Drop a number in the comments. Subscribe. You're in the right place.